Hello, everyone. On behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group, I'm Meenakshi, extending a warm welcome to each and every one of you in today's webinar, Harnessing Solar Energy, the Role of Energy Storage in Off-Grid Solutions. Thanks to our esteemed guest speakers and the attendees for their valuable presence in today's webinar. In today's webinar, we delve into the transformative potential of solar energy combined with cutting-edge technology solutions in addressing the unique challenges and opportunities across the entire African continent. Before we proceed, I would like to make a brief announcement. We encourage all the attendees to actively engage in the discussion by posting their questions in the Q&A box. Our esteemed panel speakers will address these questions during the interactive Q&A session at the conclusion of the panel discussion. Now, without further ado, I would like to begin and call upon the screen Ms. Pauline, ESS Sales Manager, East Africa, Jinko Solar, to share her insights. Over to you, Ms. Pauline.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay. So, thank you, Meenakshi. So my name is Pauline Will, and I am the ESS Sales Manager across the East African region. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya, and today I'll be taking you through Jinko Solar Energy Storage Solutions. So, just a brief background about who Jinko is. So, Jinko Solar is an OEM, that is original equipment manufacturer, and we are the first company who we have established a vertically integrated production, meaning we've done silicon material processing to wafer, to cell, and module production. This is in the industry. And so far, we have a total of 14 global production bases. Some are in China, others in the United States, some in Malaysia, and others in Vietnam. So as of the fourth quarter of 2023, last year, we've been able to do production one of ESS of about 4 gigawatt hours. This was in 2023, and now in 2024, we are prospecting to do 12 gigawatt hours. Then we've also done monocrystalline silicon wafers of 75 gigawatt. We've done cells of also 75 gigawatt and the modules of 90 gigawatt. So for our core business, as I mentioned earlier, we do manufacture of wafer, of cell, of PV module, and we also do BIPV, that is building integrated PV. And recently we began a production of ESS, that is the energy storage solutions. So today in this webinar, I'll be taking you through the energy storage solutions that we offer. So for our portfolio, we have categorized different solutions into different categories. So we have the residential ESS or the sun tank that ranges between 1 kilowatt hours to 50 kilowatt hours. This doesn't mean that we have a product of 1 kilowatt hour. It's just a range that we have used to categorize our solutions. Then we have the C&I or the Sun Giga that ranges between 50 kilowatt hours to 2 megawatt hours. Then we have the utility scale or the Sun Terra that is above now the 2 megawatt hour solution. So I'll begin with our residential product, the RESS. For this, we have hybrid inverters and battery modules. So as you can see here on the screen, we have two different models of inverters. So for the top one, it ranges between a 3.6 up to 12 kilowatt. This is both for single phase and three phase. So for the single phase, it's the range is a 3.6 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt, and 8 kilowatt. And for the three phase, it's 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, and 12 kilowatt. So for the model down here, it encompasses the the single phase that ranges between a 3 kilowatt to 6 kilowatt. Then for the battery modules, we also have two models. We have the 4.8 kilowatt hours, and that is here in the middle. Then we have the 5.12 at the farthest end. So I'll start with the battery modules. We have the 4.8. So for this 4.8, the battery type or its technology is lithium iron phosphate. It comes with a weight of 41 kgs plus or minus 2 kgs. It also comes, or we give a warranty of 10 years, and it has a cycles of 6,000 cycles. So the energy capacity, as I mentioned, is 4.8, and the DOD for this depth of discharge is above 95%, hence the usable capacity of 4.5 kilowatt hours. So for this unit, the 4.8 kilowatt hours, you can do up to a maximum parallel connection of up to 16 battery modules to give about 77 kilowatt hours of energy. It also has inbuilt battery management system, and also it comes with an energy monitoring system. So it has a different protection devices. We have the over voltage, under voltage, over current, undercurrent, and so on and so forth. So the other battery module that we have is the 5.12 kilowatt hour solution. And for this, we can do a parallel connection of up to 4 units. So it's to give us a maximum of 20 kilowatt hours. It comes with a DOD of 90%, hence the usable capacity of 4.6 kilowatt hours. Then its weight is 58 kgs. And for this, the battery type is also a lithium iron phosphate. The warranty is also 10 years, and the cycles is 6,000 cycles. So for this model, compared to the other model, is that for this you can do up to 40% less installation time because you're just stacking them. And as I mentioned, you can do a parallel connection of up to 4 units. So I'll go on to the inverters. So this is a single phase inverter that ranges between a 3 kilowatt up to 6 kilowatt, and it is compatible with a diesel generator, and it also supports a parallel connection of up to 6 units. So the switch time between the on grid to off grid feature is 20 milliseconds switch time. And also for the protection, it comes with a waterproof protection and dustproof
Miss Pauline,
protection.
Miss Pauline, sorry to interrupt you. Can you put your presentation on full screen?
Sorry,
Can you put the presentation on full screen?
it's on full screen. Okay, just is it on full screen now?
No, not yet.
How about now?
Ma'am, if you go on the slideshow option, can you click on the slideshow option on top?
Can you see now?
Yes,
How is it?
yes, this is fine. This is perfect, ma'am.
All right.
You can continue. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So for the inverter, I'll just repeat what I was saying. Um, it ranges between a 3 kilowatt. It's a single phase inverter that ranges between a 3 kilowatt up to 6 kilowatt. So we have 3.6, 4.6, 5, and 6 kilowatt. And for this type of inverter, it is compatible with a diesel generator, and also it supports a parallel connection of up to six inverters. So it comes with a automatic switch time between the on-grid and off-grid of 20 milliseconds. So it's very easy, or it's very seamless to switch between the on-grid to off-grid. Then for the protection, it comes with the waterproof protection and dust proof protection. So for the C&I solutions, we have, from what you can see on the screen, we have the first model as an air-cooled solution, and the second one as a liquid-cooled solution. So these are just two different types of cooling technology that the C&I solutions have. So for our C&I solutions, the configurations that it can come with is either as an AC coupled solution or a DC coupled solution. So for the difference between the AC coupled and the DC coupled solution is that we are just introducing, for the AC coupled, we are introducing the PV inverters. So in our solution, there won't be the DC to DC converters. So the key features for our solution is that it comes with a warranty of 5 years, and the cycles are 5,000 cycles. Then also, as I mentioned, the cooling concept for this solution is that it's an air-cooled solution. And some of the advantages is that it's very simple to control and very simple to integrate, as it comes as an already pre-configured solution. It also supports a PV, a batteries, diesel generator, and a grid access. So making it also to have the on-grid to off-grid automatic switching to be about the 20 milliseconds. So it is also integrated with the containerized solution is integrated with the PCS, the BMS, and the EMS. And as I said, it's easy to install and operate. It also comes with multiple protection systems. That is, it comes with flood sensors. It also comes with smoke detection sensors, among others. Then also, it can communicate with the eight automatic transfer switch and the static transfer switch between the BSS, the batteries, and the PV. So some of our standard products, this is the list of our standard products. The smallest being a 50 kilowatt with a 69 kilowatt hour solution. So the naming of this product is that the JKS means Jinko storage. Then this number, in this case the 69, it stands for the battery capacity, so 69 kilowatt hours, and 50 is the PCS capacity, so 50 kilowatt in this case, and the H stands for the hybrid, so it's a hybrid PCS. So the smallest, as I mentioned, is a 50 kilowatt with the 69 kilowatt hours, and the largest is a 1.6 megawatt hours with a 500 kilowatt. So for our standard solutions is that you can parallel them up to 4 units. So in this case, if we go with the biggest here, the 1.6 kilowatt hours with a 500 kilowatt, if we parallel 4 of them, we'll get about 6.4 megawatt hours with a 2 megawatt PCS capacity. So these are just images to show how they come in different sizes and how they look like. So these are the cell specification or the specifications of the cells, the packs, the rack, and of the hybrid PCS. So this is just a sample. So for the cell specification is that it's a 96AH, a 3.2 volt system. And for the hybrid PCS, a specification in this case is that it's a 100 kilowatt rated PCS, and the maximum power it can produce is a 110 kilowatt. So we have the other technology that is liquid cooled. So for the liquid cooled, it's a new technology that we are coming up with. And currently we have of two sizes, that is over 344 kilowatt hour solution and a 215 kilowatt hour solution. So the advantage of this is that the PV or the DC system for the 344 is a 1500 volt system, and for the 215 is for a 1000 volt system. So the difference between the 344 and the 215 kilowatt hours is the number of battery packs. So for the 344, it has 8 battery packs, and the 215, it has 5 battery packs. So just to add, the liquid cooled solution is a bit more expensive compared to the air-cooled solution because it's much more durable compared to the compared to the air-cooled solution. So we have the utility solution or the Santerra, and for this, it's just a standard solution rated 3.44 megawatt hours. And also for this solution, you can parallel them up to 4 units. The cell technology is also lithium iron phosphate, and what it comes with, the battery container comes separately with the PCS transformer and switchgear. So they come as 2 separate containers. So it supports both AC and DC coupled solution. Also, it comes as a pre-configured solution, so it's relatively easy to install. Its design life is 20. It's 20 years for this. So in conclusion, so our battery solution or our battery technologies, they are lithium iron phosphate, and thus they have excellent life cycles. Then also they are very easy to install as they come as pre-configured solutions. And we have, for the residential, they come with a 10-year warranty. And for the C&I, the warranty can be extended up to 10 years, but the standard warranty is 5 years. So these are just some of the projects we've installed all over Africa. So we've done one in Nigeria. We have done another in Mozambique. This was a mini grid. We've also done another in Kenya of 1.1 megawatt hour solution. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Pauline, for this insightful presentation. Without further delay, let us begin our highly anticipated panel discussion session for today. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panel experts who will share their insights and expertise on the topic at hand. We have Mr. Titus, who is the Senior Technical Service Manager at Jinko, Mr. Nicholas, Director of Engineering, Innovia, Solar Africa, Mr. Michael, Vice President Commercial, Rensource Energy, Mr. Solomon, Engineering Lead from Vesta Solar, and Mr. Chidi from Founder and CEO, Power Up Renewables. Mrs. Queen, she is the Regional Lead for West Africa from Women in Renewable Energy. She will be the moderator for the session. Over to you, Ms. Queen.
Hi, thank you, Mina. It's a pleasure to be on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished experts, welcome to today's panel discussion on the topic of paramount importance, which is harnessing solar energy and the role of energy storage in off-grid solutions. I'm honored to be your moderator today for this enlightening session, and as she has mentioned, my name is Queen Iwunwa Agomon, Regional Lead for Wire. I'm also Sales Operations Manager for Stimaco. And so joining me to explore this topic further, we have our esteemed panelists, each of them bringing a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. I will allow each one of them to give a brief introduction of themselves and their company. So please let's start off with Nicholas.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicholas Selvey. I'm the VP of Engineering for Renuvia Solar Africa. Renuvia is an off-grid energy developer. We build mini grids primarily in Kenya and Nigeria, and pretty soon also Ethiopia. We're really excited about that. We operate 22 mini grids right now. We have about 1 megawatt peak of solar energy, solar panels installed across the continent. And yeah, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Can I have Pauline, please?
Um, Hi, just presented done the presentation. My name is Pauline Muyo, and I'm the ESS sales manager across the East African region at Jinko.
Thank you. And Solomon, then Michael, then Titus.
All right. Hi everyone. My name is Solomon Afalabi. I'm the engineering lead here at Westa Solar. At Westa Solar, we design, we finance, and we also develop renewable energy solutions for commercial and industrial players in Nigeria and across West Africa. Happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Hello. Yeah, good
Thank you.
afternoon. Yes, my name is Michael Iwu. I'm the VP Commercial for Rensource Energy. Rensource Energy is a solar energy company with special focus on CNI. We are arguably one of the fastest CNI solar focus company in Africa. So far, we have about 8 megawatts installed and about 15 megawatts in construction state. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Titus Koech. I'm actually in charge of technical support for Sub-Saharan Africa for Jinko Solar. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya.
Thank you so much, everyone. So basically, before we dive into the heart of our discussion today, let's just set the stage. I know, like in many parts of the world, and particularly in Africa communities, there is still a huge lack of access to reliable power grid. However, the sun shines on every corner of the globe, making solar energy a promising solution. Today, we'll explore how coupling solar energy with efficient energy storage systems can provide sustainable, reliable off-grid solutions. Now let's turn our attention to Nicholas, our first panelist. I'm just going to ask him, what are basically some of the primary obstacles hindering access to energy in off-grid communities in Africa?
Yeah, sure thing. That's a great question. Thank you for the introduction. I'll give three key off-grid obstacles for Africa. The first is regulatory challenges, right? While several national governments in Africa have done a really great job modernizing their off-grid energy regulatory framework, oftentimes county officials interested in exploiting the projects for personal gain can stall projects or increase the expense of the projects or even halt them altogether. And that can be a really big challenge for us. The second big obstacle I'll highlight is energy demand assessment challenges, right? So historically, firms tasked with projecting the future energy demand of yet to be electrified communities have done honestly a terrible job producing accurate projections. The problem with that is that underestimates can lead to an undersized off-grid energy solution that don't provide 24/7 energy, whereas overestimates can lead to oversized energy solutions that never pay themselves back, right? And thankfully, in this challenge, I'm happy to report that Renuvia has actually started to leverage our years of experience and data collected from the mini grids we operate to provide energy demand assessments that not only accurately predict the energy demand of unelectrified communities, but can also incorporate more advanced analyses like price elasticity of demand to help companies decide on tariff as well as the size of these systems. The last challenge I'll highlight is financing challenges. Oftentimes, in general, off grid energy projects in Africa are funded through a combination of grant, debt, and equity. And all three are often dependent upon each other. Too often, I've seen a shovel ready project in a community that's super excited to receive energy, only able to raise a portion of the funds needed. And since the regulatory approvals only last so long, these projects can expire while waiting for a final piece of financing to come in. Thankfully, here too, we've developed an innovative solution in the form of a carbon asset platform to help off grid energy developers raise more money to build more impactful projects.
Thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate that. So you mentioned regulation, you mentioned underestimation of energy demand. What was the third one?
Financing, financing
Oh yeah,
challenges.
absolutely. Yeah, good. These are huge, huge challenges that I don't think it's gonna be resolved in a decade. Yeah, because as we evolve, as the population grow, the demand for energy grows, and data definitely is crucial. Finance is a big challenge in this part of the world. And yes, I agree with you. I don't know if Pauline has any other challenges she would like to add or mention. Pauline?
Just on the financing bit of it, I'll iterate on the size of the project. So you find there are some projects, let's say small C&I and residential projects where there are no financials are willing on they're willing to finance the project, and they're only comfortable with the financing over, let's say, 200 kilowatt peak solution. So we find these residential or small C&I projects having that lack of financing.
Yeah, absolutely. I quite agree with you. Finance is a big issue on in this side of the world, and it's largely due to so many factors. I know that there are developers and there are off-grid companies who have successfully accessed finance, but a large number of them still have challenges with this. And that's why we have the likes of the international development banks like the World Bank, AFDB, and these other banks that who are now, you know, partnering with national governments to implement off-grid energy solution programs to deploy off-grid solutions in the communities. And so we need more of that. There are also local banks as well However, there's this huge requirement list, as well as the interest rate is off the roof. So these are huge challenges. I quite agree. Thank you so much. So moving on to the next question, I'm going to call on Solomon. Now, what are the different types of energy storage technology? So basically, we've talked about these challenges. Now, can we talk a little bit about the solutions? Can we talk about the different kinds of energy storage technologies that are commonly used and
All
how they
right. Thank
compete
you
in
very.
terms of efficiency and reliability? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pauline. So I'm talking about the energy storage solutions that are predominant or that are available at the moment. When we look down at Africa, we have different types of energy storage solutions. Basically, we have the batteries, we have the thermal storages, and we have so many others energy storage solutions. But for this case study, we are considering battery energy solutions basically. So we have different types of battery energy solutions. We have the lithium ion battery energy solutions, popularly known as the lithium ion phosphate. These are basically more redundant, and they are always more preferred because of their their functionalities. Basically, they are scalable. They can be used for both industrial and also for residential purposes. Also, we have the lead acid batteries. These are probably less efficient than the lithium iron phosphate, but we're just talking about finances. Lithium iron phosphate batteries can be quite expensive, so an alternative to them is the lead acid batteries. This also, they help solve fast solutions when it comes to energy storage. Maybe not as efficient as the lithium ion uh, compartment, basically. Then we also have the flow battery. These are not really common yet, especially in Africa, but flow batteries are also energy storage batch solutions that can be used for basically they're used for long-term storage. And if you look at all of these solutions, they have different considerations when we talk about their depth of discharge. For instance, the lithium ion phosphate, they have like one of the best depth of discharge out of the others. They have about 70 to 90% discharge depth. Talk about the lead acid batteries. I mentioned that they're not as efficient as the lithium ion counterparts. They have about 50% depth of discharge. These are also technologies that are used in energy storage. So, if you want to look more into technical consideration, we'll talk about the conditions at which some of these technologies work. For instance, most energy storage solutions they require close to room temperature for them to function optimally. And I know we'll still talk more about some technical consideration when it comes to selecting
Yeah.
the right energy storage solutions. So I think I've
Thank
mentioned the most prevalent types of energy storage we have here in Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would like to call on Nicholas before he disappears. Nicholas, please, could you just chime in on this question? Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, certainly. No, that was actually a really great overview of the different types of energy storage solutions. I guess the little bit of context I would add is that right now, lithium ion seems to really be dominating the off-grid energy market for a lot of the reasons that Solomon gave, actually, right? Their lead acid has a lot of it's a lot of just like operational challenges with it. You can only get about 50% depth of discharge out of them before you start to damage them, whereas lithium ion, you can go as far as like 90 or 95%. Flow batteries, while they seem really cool and like really exciting, and I think that 10 years from now we might be thinking of lithium ion as like a thing of the past. They haven't really invaded and impressed the African off-grid market yet. Um, I will say it's interesting when you think about like why lithium ion exists and what as a technology it's trying to do. The whole point of lithium ion as a battery chemistry is to maximize energy density, right? You're trying to get the most amount of kilowatt hours into the smallest amount of kilograms you possibly can. And that's extremely important for particularly like transportation technologies, right? For e-bikes and electronic vehicles and things like that, right? But to be honest, as a mini grid developer, I don't care how much the battery weighs. If the battery weighs a ton, I don't care. It's just gonna be sitting in my powerhouse. I don't actually care about the energy density that much. What I care about as a mini grid developer an amount of energy per dollar, right? I want to pay the least amount of money and be able to get the most amount of energy storage out of my battery and have it last a really long time. So for that reason, I've seen and I've been excited about a lot of kind of up and coming battery chemistries. I'm really excited about those chemistries. They're trying to optimize for that energy per dollar, or energy instead of energy per kilogram. But exactly like Solomon said, it'll probably take a little while for those to hit the market.
Great insight. Thank you so much. Pauline, would you like to add some comments in this? Do you agree with what Nicholas has said? What's your view?
Yes, I agree. I agree with both Nicholas and Solomon. So for this, they both are. I'm really. Can we just move on? I'll answer the next question.
Okay, great.
All right.
I have on here Titus. Titus, please could you just give a summary of, of course we've heard about lithium, we've heard about lead acid, we heard about flow batteries. We're also hearing about energy pair. Now, what did Nicholas call it? Oh, he's out of the. Okay,
Per density, energy per
per den-
density,
okay,
and
all
yeah,
right. So kilowatt, right? So
yeah.
so Titus, you just wanna just mention a few more or give a summary of this.
Yeah, I'm hoping you can hear me clearly. So what I can say is that I really like what Nicholas was actually saying, because there is a from real experience. Having being a mini grid developer, they've actually been through this most of these challenges as well, and also been able to offer solutions as well. So what I can say is that basically, as that is coming in from an OEM perspective, is that there are so many things that we look into. One is we try as much as possible to work out solutions with our clients, that is from the design stage, and most of the designs, or rather most of the challenges that we find in most of the mini grids, we actually find that they usually occur, that is from the word go, that is in the design stage. That of course it comes into more of improper sizing as well. There is no proper planning that is for the implementation. And most thing that also most of the people that actually ignore is post installation, that is basically the operation and maintenance, which is a very key factor. Most of the mini grids nowadays are actually designed to maybe to operate for 15 to 20 or 25 years, and without proper on them, then basically that is not going to be realized. And if you also check into the region, is that most of the models are actually more of let me say it's more of hybrid, that is utility based, and also community and also private sector as well. So that is combining all that, and the responsibility that is for the operation and maintenance really lies on the community without proper knowledge transfer. So which is also a very big challenge. And the other thing that I can also mention is with regards to perhaps the technology, you also need to consider that is basically what you want. I think was it Mike or someone actually mentioned something about lead acid and lithium ion batteries as well. So because you're looking into different factors, one of the key factors that you'll find that developers usually look into is mainly the initial cost, not looking into the operation and maintenance cost, and basically the general OPEX and the cost of energy that was also mentioned by Nicholas as well, which actually the chosen technology also matters. And if you check into as Jinko now as a manufacturer, is that each and every day we are trying to improve our technologies in as much as we're actually doing lithium iron phosphate, which is the same to what each and every other player or other major player is actually doing right now. Because of the maturity of the technology, we're also trying to improve. We're actually implementing, or rather in the process of implementing our first 5 megawatt hour mini grid solution, which is based on the liquid cooled energy storage solution. And also, before the end of the year, that is by June this year, we'll also be launching our most recent liquid cooled energy storage solution with very high energy density, that is actually up to 5 megawatt hours in one container as well. So you can see as manufacturers, we're looking into the challenges happening in the industry, in the market, especially sub-Saharan Africa, and also thinking from a manufacturing perspective. I would say basically we are also learning, basically learning from the challenges, because the challenges keeps on evolving every day, and we also need to adapt to make sure that we have solutions for such kind of scenarios.
Thank you very much. Really great perspective. And I agree when you mention how most developers, most mini grid developers pay more attention to the capex than the opex, and that's I quite agree with that. That's something that needs to change, right? Um, let's now move on to our next question. I'll be calling on Michael, and this is basically talking about case studies and success stories from various regions. And so, can you just provide some specific examples of successful, off-grid energy projects, especially with regards to, the efficiency of storage systems?
Okay, thank you very much, Queen. Yes, so I'll be giving the case study of battery energy storage system, and there's no best place to use as example than to use rain source projects, right? Yes, so I'll start with our Sabon Geri project, which is very popular. I think that was the first major microgrid project in Nigeria. Okay, for that project, we raised $20 million with the plan to solarize several markets in Africa. Okay, so in total, we did about 4 megawatts um, solar peak and the battery capacity of 5 megawatt hour, but it's actually decentralized. So you have about 3.4 megawatts in Sabongeri, and you have about 1.2 megawatts in Surulere in Lagos, and we have some other markets scattered with BESS solution. And it was a success, right? Instead of using diesel generator, I just imagined that we used diesel generators for that project. We would have been um, in the murky waters now because the cost of diesel have skyrocketed. So this also speaks volume of why you should use BESS for off-grid solution, because when you're looking at long term, you need to factor in um, battery energy storage solution. Yeah, so at the moment, we're also integrating BESS to some of our initially solar PV diesel projects. Okay, so it will interest you to know that we are using Jinko ESS solution. So it's not by accident that we're on this call, right? I know that the supply chain, the team, they've already procured a GSS, Jinko ESS solution for one of our projects in Kanu. And also, there's a project in Abuja. I will not mention names, just in case our competitors are listening to us. I can see Solomon smiling. I know Kanu is one of their hub, right? So we're actually integrating BESS solution because it's more sustainable. The truth of the matter is that the LCOEs of BSS is far lower than any other kind of alternative energy solution you look at. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'll just stop there so that we'll have time for others to speak. And if there are any other question, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I see a comment from Ashante Piri. Hope I mentioned that okay. It says, what are the best practices to ensure longevity of BESS? And what are some of the O and M challenges you are seeing in the field? Michael, you want to take that? Michael or Colin?
Okay. Yes. Yes. I will react to that. So basically, when you are installing a BESS solution, you should ensure that it comes with a battery management system. And one of the major challenge that you get is actually fire outbreak. Okay, so lithium ion um, I've witnessed one of the fire incidents as a result of the battery getting very hot and it exploded, and the fire don't stop burning; it must burn itself out. Okay, so you can eventually burn a whole community if you don't take safety into consideration. So what you want to look at is to ensure that where the battery is stored, the temperature is not too hot, and you try to work with the spec sheet to ensure that the ambient temperature is within the acceptable limit. Thank you.
Thank you. Gonna call on Pauline, still on this topic on case study and success stories. I want to also have you just talk about how crucial is energy storage in ensuring a consistent and reliable power supply in off-grid settings, in off-grid projects, especially when relying on solar energy.
So in that topic, I'll first mention some of the projects that we have are currently installed across East Africa. Sorry, across Africa. So we've done one project with actually Renewvia. And Nicholas was here. It was about a 1 megawatt hour system. Then we've also done a couple of mini grids in Nigeria. So for these mini grids, especially in Nigeria, the reason was mostly due to the power instability of the area. So our solution or our battery energy solutions, they stabilized the systems. We've also done some in Djibouti of about 1.2 megawatt hour solution. And from these installations or from these solutions, some of the positive impacts that we can see is that there is the economic impact of it. So we get investors who come in now creating job opportunities for people or the community, the surrounding communities. Also, something else is by expanding income generating opportunities. So by this case in point is like someone who didn't have a, a refrigerator, maybe to store, maybe they had fish. So in this case, they'll be able to store the fish, and it won't be able to go bad. Hence, and expanding the income generation. Also, something else is like our resilience to, I'll use shocks. So in areas like in health facilities which don't have power. So by us installing or by us supplying these solutions, there is that provision of power in healthcare facilities or in areas where it demands emergency shelter for any type of crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely love this case studies you mentioned, particularly as how it helps with the agricultural value chain in riverine communities where there is an obvious lack of electricity, and how you know the energy storage solutions pretty much helps to preserve this food produce and commodities, and help to elongate its life. I love how you also talked about, even for in emergency situations, these are also deployed. This is a great work that you're doing, and this is basically how important um, energy storage is, particularly for off-grid, rural, and underserved, even unserved communities. Thank you. Excellent perspective. So moving on, we're going to be talking about technical considerations and solutions, and the people like the experts I have for these questions are Solomon and Titus. And so, can we talk more about? I know Solomon, I cut you off in the other question when you were talking about, the lithium battery, lead acid, and the flow batteries. You were trying to now go deeper into batteries. And so, I think now is your chance and your opportunity. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Pauline. I knew this was going to come. So, speaking of the key technical considerations when it comes to selecting the right energy storage solutions for hybrid situations, it's important for you to understand some key technical information. I'm going to speak on some of them. The first one is, I think I've talked about the temperature, the operating temperature, and that's what Michael was also trying to buttress when he was talking about, the challenges, the O&M challenges that can arise from the use of ESS. I think this is very key because, battery energy solutions, they are best managed when they operate at close to room temperature. Let's talk about 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. In most cases, people install air conditioners and some other cooling heat to make sure that these batteries maintain the temperature working together. The temperature rises, and you need to maintain a healthy temperature for them to be optimal. Another thing you want to also understand is the discharge rate of these batteries, because talking about discharge rate is just basically the maximum load that the energy system can actually power per time. So we talked about depth of discharge the other time when I was analyzing that for lithium ion, you can go as high as 90%, for lead acid 50%. These are things you need to understand. If you are working with a lead acid battery, you don't want to discharge it as low as 70, 80%. You're going to damage that battery. You're going to reduce the lifespan of the battery. So you want to understand the discharge rate of the battery. Also, another key technical consideration when you're selecting energy storage system is to make sure that, Michael talked about battery management system. You want to make sure that the storage system you are opting for, that it can easily be monitored remotely. Thankfully, while Pauline was, presenting the Jinko ESS solution, she mentioned some of these functionalities of their solution, which is very important because you don't want to sit down in your battery cabinet for hours trying to probably touch the head to know what's the temperature, or you want to hold a thermometer in a battery bank and want to know the temperature. Due to some advances in technology, you can have solutions that helps you to remotely monitor the temperature, the operating voltage, the operating current, the discharge rate. These are key informations you want to always have at the back of your mind when you are working with your energy storage solutions. And another key technical consideration is you want to be sure that the whatever solution you are implementing at a particular time is flexible enough for future expansion. The demand for energy grows with time. So, for instance, let's say for a residential user, or probably for our own case, a commercial and industrial user that was having a load of about maybe 50 kilowatts for a start. When business gets better and they want to expand, you want to make sure that your energy storage system can also be expanded. It can be scaled. And this is also something really nice about the GECO ESS. I don't know if I'm doing free hard, but it's important for you to understand that these are key consideration. And thankfully, the developers, they're understanding this, the OEMs, they understand this, and they are bringing up technologies that can accommodate this. I would also want to talk about the technical advantage of using battery energy solution, because basically this is mainly about off-grid solutions, right? This webinar is mainly focusing on off-grid solutions, and we know that for an off-grid solution, that means there is no connection to the utility grid, basically. So you are running your entire load on the energy storage system. So you one of the advantages that the ESS offers is that they help you to achieve energy reliability and redundancy. The fact that there is no grid and you can always have something to always tap from shows you how important this energy storage solution is. I know I've talked a lot and I know there are a lot of questions in the deck, so I'll just stop here and ask questions.
Thank you very much. This was very insightful, really good. Titus, do you want to add to that? Any other technical
Yeah,
consideration we
I
should
think,
consider?
yeah, I think actually, yeah, I think Solomon has actually raised some very good summary of almost everything that I wanted to say. So I can actually see that he's actually very good job. And what I can only stress is one factor that that is from our own experience and also from our own experience as well, personal experience is, I think it's also good if we start designing for basically the future. That is looking into, there's some bit of we cannot really tell on how the expansion is going to happen, because once you have a mini grid or rather an off-grid solution in an off-grid area, then basically there will be an appetite to, of course, electricity, and of course there will be need for more connections, need for expansion, and all that. But from a manufacturer's point of view, we're actually looking that as part of the design considerations, you basically need to design not only on the generation aspect, but also into the distribution aspect, thinking about the future. So that will be very important. The other thing is, there's also the aspect of warranty as well. Warranty and also the partner that is from the manufacturing side. You really need to know which partner you're working with in terms of the bankability of the partner as well. Are they really willing to honor the warranty, maybe after 5, after 10 years? In as much as they may give you maybe 10 years or maybe more than 10 years, but are they willing to honor the warranty? Then also the conditions of the warranty as well. I think, from a manufacturer's point of view, I think it also needs to have some bit of transparency on what actually needs to be covered under the warranty, and also what are the conditions of the warranty. I would give a case that sometimes, we can promise that the battery is actually going to last for 20 years, but we don't provide the conditions under which the warranty is going to last for 20 years. Let's say the conditions which include maybe the operating temperature, maybe the C rating of the battery, and also maybe the end of life as well. So without transparency, then that means that that will be not really workable. And the other thing as well, as part of also design for the future as well, you find that in some countries in Africa, there is actually possibility of future grid extension to some of these communities. So if also the policy is not very clear, so I would think that it's also very good for us to basically design solutions that will also allow for future grid extension as well. That is why in the presentation from Pauline, you're actually looking that we've made our standard solutions in such a way that you can actually have the ability to also include grid as well. In as much as you'll find that they are totally off-grid solutions, but they can also have the ability to also integrate with the electricity grid as well. So I think that, not to take so much time, I think just to add into what Solomon was mentioned before.
Thank you, Titus. Very well said. I appreciate that. And just wanted to also say to the audience that please, if you have any questions that you would like any of our experts to shed more light or elaborate on, please feel free to type that in the chat. Going forward, we're going to be calling on Mr. Michael. And basically, my question for you now is if you could share the current state of renewable energy policies and how they impact the adoption of solar storage energy or solar energy in the off-grid scenarios. So talking about policy frameworks and international collaborations. Over.
Okay, yes, thank you very much, Queen. I think last year we had COP 28 from November 30th to December 13. A lot of the stakeholders went there. I hope they didn't just go there to drink tea and take pictures, right? But that's on the lighter notes. One good thing that came out from that meeting is the fact that world leaders are making commitments to support, especially developing countries. Like some of us know, there is a $30 billion that is available for renewable energy off-grid solution, right? For private financing. These frameworks and commitment like this go a long way in ensuring a just transition. The whole agreement is to move to net zero by 2050. Okay, so it's no longer reducing fossil fuel, is now taking fossil fuel out. And what comes to the forefront when you're looking at taking out fossil fuel is off-grid solution. And the easiest is what we are talking about, which is battery energy storage system. Okay, so the international community, the body language of the international community is supporting the transition towards a cleaner energy and off-grid energy solution like battery energy storage system is being put at the forefront. Okay, I think one of the, I've forgotten who was speaking on that, the challenges on off-grid that we have at the moment in terms of policy is the fact that most of the African countries, they are yet to firm up on some policies that will be the game changer. For example, Nigeria, Senegal, and Ghana, they have the net metering uh, policy, but this has not been implemented in Nigeria. Okay, so I think governments of these countries should push to have net metering, especially for off grid, whereby you can sell power to the grid. Okay, so excess power that is being generated can be sold back to the grid. You know, the challenge that we have currently is that the areas that don't have grid are usually rural communities, and they don't have the ability to pay for this power. So when mini grid developers go there to deploy mini grid solution, they end up being tied up to that community with people that cannot pay. But if there are policies available to ensure that you can sell to the grid, instead of being tied to a particular client, you can now sell part of those energy generated to the grid. I think with policy, with the right policy, and with the body language from the international community, is really setting the stage for uh, off-grid solution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You did justice to that, Michael. Appreciate your response. And last but not the least, we are now going to be looking at scalability and the future outlook of off-grid solar solutions with energy storage and basically their potential to address the energy needs of a larger population. So I'm going to be calling on Pauline. And my question to you is, how do off-grid solar solutions with energy storage contribute to scalability, and what is their potential to meet the energy needs of a larger population in the future?
Thank you for your question. So I'll give case in points from our solutions and how scalability is in terms of our Jinko products. So in our products, we have a modular design. So as I mentioned in the presentation is that once you do an installation, let's say of one single unit, it's very easy for you to scale it. So if let's say in the next 6 months, the load demand has increased, you can scale up your system to either up to 4 units. So it comes with a modular design where you can increase the system based on the load demand of a community or of a facility. Then also the other point is in terms of advancement in technology. So previously, we used to have acid lead acid batteries, right? And they weren't as effective as we have lithium ion currently, which are very effective. And also, as you can see, moving forward, the prices are also going down. So comparing a lead acid with lithium ion is that lead acid is more advanced, so it's more reliable, it's very efficient, and also the cost of it is relatively cheap and very competitive. Also, us at Jinko, we also offer our solutions are very competitive in terms of the pricing. The other thing I can say is over time, it's more easy or it's easier to do a decentralized systems like mini grids as opposed to having grid extension. So that comes with also the cost effectiveness of the solution. So the solution is clean, it's green, and also having just a decentralized solution is more cheaper or economically viable compared to pulling or extending the grid, which maybe comes from fossil fuels, as most grids are. Um, yeah, those are some of just the solutions that can advance that can help in terms of scalability and the future of energy access within communities.
Thank you so much, Pauline. Well said. So now let's open the floor for a dynamic discussion. So if any panelists have any additional thoughts or would like to respond to a fellow expert's insight, please feel free to do so now. It's something you forgot to also mention while you had the stage. Michael, Titus, Solomon, any of you?
I think
Mr. Amin, can we
let me
take?
add into.
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, let me
Titus.
just. Yeah, thank you so much, Minash. So let me just add into what Paulina said, and I think the issue of scalability is actually a very sensitive issue because in as much as you really want to scale the solution, you also need to think about it this way: that for purposes of scalability, like I said before, you need to design for the future. So you also need to plan for it because if not planned for, then in some cases it may actually not be possible. I would give a case right now, for the Jinko energy storage solutions, assuming let's say a 500 kilowatt system. So if the load increases and you'd want to expand to let's say around 2 megawatts, you see that is basically possible because you can just add in up to a maximum of 4, or even maybe in future up to 6. There is similar solutions and be able to expand. But looking into this way, maybe after 3 or 4 years, what happens if the technology is basically obsolete? And we're having a different technology. So that is also another very big challenge as well, because you'll find that yes, it's scalable, but you see also that the other challenge is that the technology also changes very fast. In that there are new solutions coming up every day, and of course, I know that is what from the end user point of view, they don't initially like it, but from the manufacturer's point of view, we also like to advance technology because we want to improve our technology. We also want to optimize our costs as well. And of course, we also want to increase our competitiveness as well. So I think there is also some very good discussion that needs to come up. That is during the initial planning stage of the mini grid that needs to be discussed directly with the OEMs like Jinko, and also and also the financials, and also all the other key stakeholders in the project.
Yeah, well said. Thank you so much. I'm going to open it now to our audience. Would like to hear from you. If you've been listening, do you have any questions for our panelists? If you have, just feel free to type in the box or raise your hand. We have this on here. I believe we're already taking this question. I think Mr. Michael took this. What are the best practices to ensure longevity or the best energy storage solution systems, and what operation and maintenance challenges are you seeing in the field? Would anyone like to add some more to this, Solomon?
Thank you very much. I think we actually addressed this earlier, like you said, and to just probably had context to hit. The user is asking for the best permanent practice. So yeah, permanent practices make sure that your energy storage systems, they are in a well ventilated and a controlled environment where you can actually set the pace for your operating temperature. Basically, make sure that you have remote monitoring facilities installed alongside your energy storage systems. This will help you identify faults long before it gets beyond control. Basically, also you want to make sure that you are using the right technology for the right application. Basically, and also you want to make sure that you carry out planned maintenance because I know most times we see some of the OEMs to tell you that the battery requires no servicing, no all of those things. But I mean, you can't have a technology and just leave it to chance. You have to actually have a planned maintenance around it, check the termination of the batteries. If it is that's it for lead acid batteries. For lithium ion batteries, you want to make sure that you regularly monitor the operating temperature. You want to make sure that the area is dust free as much as possible. I know we are coming up with technologies that doesn't get impacted so much by this, but the more you accumulate all of these things, the bigger the O&M of those technologies becomes harder for you to accomplish. But for me, most importantly, make sure you can monitor your ESS remotely. I mean, this will save you a lot of headaches right in the operation timeline of the battery.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Minakish, do you have more questions from the audience?
Uh, that's it, Ms. Queen, and other topics have already been covered. So I think for now, these were the only questions that we had. I
All
would
right.
like to all our audience and panelists. With this, we come to the end of our virtual event. A very special thanks to Ms. Queen for superbly managing the session. Your expertise and guidance have greatly enhanced the quality of the discussion. A big shout out to our attendees for extending your time and support for the event. We conclude and we assure you that we will be back soon with more exciting sessions. This floor is now open for networking. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.